on, guys? So today we're continuing with the Marvel 80 Years Retro Wave series, and we're going to be taking a look at IceMan. Now, I do have another version of IceMan that I'm going to compare this figure with, so I'm pretty anxious to get him out of the box. His origins are pretty well established at this point. He's IceMan. He can create ice out of thin air, basically, so it's not a whole lot to go into with his mutant abilities. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get him out of the box and see what he looks like. Okay, so here we have IceMan out of the box, and he comes with this ice effect that you see him standing on there. So that's pretty cool. His hands are both fisted. He doesn't have alternate hands, which is a little disappointing. I would have liked to see him with maybe one open hand like the previous version that we had. And he does have the belt on. So just looking at the figure in general, he has more of a kind of silverish appearance to him. It's going to be interesting, I think, to see if people prefer this or the older version of IceMan, which I'll display next to him in a minute. So looking at articulation, you can get him looking up this far, down this much. He has butterfly joints, so you're going to be able to get his arms stretched back pretty far, as well as forward this much. He also includes bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, his wrist pivot and swivel. He has ab crunch, so you can get him down this far, back this far, double jointed knees, boot swivel, and ankle pivot. He also features waist swivel, but the belt tends to get in the way just a little bit of it, but it is present. Overall, he's a pretty solid looking figure. One thing to note though is that there's this weird line that comes down his head, and I'll try to get a picture in there so that you can see it a little bit better. I'm not sure why that's taking place. Maybe it's something with the molding that they had to do. I'm not really sure. But there is a line running down the front of his face that you can see pretty clearly. From a distance, it's not that bad, so I don't think it's anything that's gonna make the figure unusable or anything like that. But it is there, so just something to make note of. So now let's bring in the older version of IceMan and do a quick comparison. Okay, so here we have the two IceMan side by side, and I think both of them have their pros and cons. I mean, this figure, the original figure, I kind of like the ridges on him where it looked like kind of ice spikes coming off his hands and his legs. I kind of like that design, but I can also appreciate this version of him as well. As far as the coloring, this one obviously has more of a bluish hue to it, more like water than ice, I would say. So this one is probably more accurate to what the comics would look like. And as I mentioned, this figure here, you can see how he has the open hand. I wish this one would have had that because it would have looked really good with the effect piece that you have here. But overall, I think he's a decent figure. I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking, I don't think. So you guys let me know in the comments which version of IceMan that you prefer. Is it the new one or the older one? I think both of them, like I said, have their pros and cons. Because I have both of them, I get to use them with different setups. I plan on using this one with my X Factor team. Hopefully we'll see Jean Grey and Beast, so we'll be able to complete that team. And I think then he'll make a really solid addition and look really good with that team. So I'll get a couple of shots in of him with Cyclops so you can see what it looks like. But let me know in the comments which version you guys prefer. So now let's go ahead and move on to my final thoughts. Okay, so for my final thoughts on IceMan, I think they did a good job with the coloring. I think this is more accurate to what we're used to seeing in the comics. I appreciate the effect that they added there. The belt looks good on him. Overall, he's a solid figure, and like I said, I think he'll fit in nicely with my X Factor setup, so I'm happy to have him for that. But let me know what you guys think about him in the comments. Is he better than the older version? Please remember to like and subscribe for more videos. More content is on the way. I'm going to be pushing through this retro wave and knock it out as quickly as possible. And then I'm going to be moving into the Wendigo wave, so that's something that I'm looking forward to. Thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you for your support, and I will see you on the next video.